Victorious Eagle Warfare. What's in the name? A lot of testosterone. Zelda Smith.
Tacos.
What's in the name?
Well, this is Jim Morrison, rare Elvis Presley cover. Let's see what's in the name.
Roseroy, hello. John S. Philip Blair, Johnny 7, Johnny 7. Johnny 7 is in heaven. No, it's terrible. The Wonka. The Wonka. There you go. Joe Cardwell. Joe Cardwell.
Unable to connect to chat. Why is that? Nobody wants me to talk today? Hi, tacos. You know my computer's hacked. I haven't even talked for weeks, all this duress and stress and bullshit. Where'd Tubby go?
I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think it's really going to do what it intends to do, which is basically big. One of our famous, conferences that this community is so known for. I think that we have to dismantle the pre-existing.
I'm not allowed to comment in my chat, obviously, but if anybody can see how your tacos,
mammon-based systems,
it'd be nice that I would get to know.
Undergird and created a kind of foul infrastructure in the fields of ufology, conspiratorial dialogue, alien experiences, and mysticism, mysticality, chanting, what have you.
We all know about these voice boxes now, don't we? Can we all agree to agree?
And I think it's going to be just a heck of a lot of fun. We'll be trying to do for a Saturday, keep you entertained. And I think one of the great things
I got some cartoons here.
What I'm looking forward to, what I think might happen is we've got people coming from all sorts of different scenes. People that have interconnected or networked on certain levels, people that have never networked or been part of the same thing before. So hopefully everyone will bring their little group of friends to the potluck dinner, and people will be able to get turned on to new people, new speakers, new thinkers that you haven't been exposed to, new content creators that you haven't been exposed to.
It's supposed to be 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
So it usually takes a minute for the live stream to
we just hit 2:42.
With the visual aspect of it. Carrie Cassidy made a video. What day she made the video? She made it like 2 days ago? Well, a couple days ago. It was called Carrie Cassidy Update. Trump
that isn't where we want to be on our list. Welcome to tonight's edition of some of my favorite squirrely videos. And of course, we'll have commentary as always. But I have a feeling something's going to pop off. So let's get started, shall we?
Endorsements. Speaking about someone, he is a complicated figure, an interesting man, though nonetheless. I don't talk about him to mock him. I talk about him to hit him.
1980.
And I hope it's not,
20 and back bullshit.
Mockery of the names. And I'll also be talking about
smart machines. It's the generation of creative computing and interface age of small personal computers that can swallow a book cheaply. Suddenly, personal computers have become the business of at least 25 manufacturers, with 3 companies, Radio Shack, Apple, and Commodore, grabbing 3/4 of the market. Franchise operations have sprung up to sell their products. Computer Land, for instance, now wooing customers in 37 states and 10 foreign countries. Something is happening out there. Something that's expanding your world. Small computers. The purpose of our business, simply stated, is to establish and support a number of successful Computerland stores. Computers have become personal tools as prices dropped and components shrank. This personal computer costs about $1,400 and fits nicely on a desk corner. Duplicating its performance just 5 years ago would have cost $75,000 and involved a unit the size of a large refrigerator. Overnight, manufacturing personal computers has become a $500 million business, one that's doubling every 2 years. It's come from something that didn't exist a few years ago to a very large business today. And in the future, of course, personal computers won't be anticipate will be as ubiquitous as the telephone. Frightening to many people, yes, and that may be why homes are the last place to be invaded by computers. In about 200,000 American homes, computers are turning on sprinklers, triggering burglar alarms. And even some who live with computers admit an initial sense of computer shock.
When we first moved in, we had the dishwasher was
I
programmed
do
to come
have
on at
some
certain
exciting
times,
news
and
to
the
share
washer
tonight.
programmed to come on at certain times, and we found that was kind of
I'll
inconvenient.
tell it
For
as
2
simply
weeks,
as I
we got into
can
trouble. We felt that we were being run by the
without
computer.
giving too much away.
Many computers in use today are the personal
But it
calculators of
proves
businessmen and scientists, or
that beyond
hobbyist turned
technology,
businessmen. Ed Magnin quit a teaching job in Torrance,
they
California,
built
to sell his own computer programs to
rewriting
computer
what we
books.
had done in the
It's
past
easier
from
than
the
teaching.
future. And,
Magnin can watch
you know,
television
now we're
on
into
the
Carrie
computer
Cassidy, which is
by telephone
bullshit, and
automatically.
Corey and David and all the bullshit. And these people were written in before I got here because I was late to show up. See, I was supposed to be there when these bitches called me on their princess phone or something. But remember, since I was so irrelevant, I was late by about a decade because I came online in 2014. And it's all pretty funny when you think about the insanity of the subject. And we'll talk.
Steve Martin is on the show tonight. If you haven't seen Steve work before, it's difficult to explain exactly what he does.
And we all know how much Chanter loves Johnny Carson, but this all goes back to my love for Johnny Carson, the mocking of my story, and my mother and grandmother breaking down and sobbing when Johnny announced that Elvis had passed. When I was 13.
Thank you very much. I don't need either of this.
Love Steve Martin.
Folks,
Look at that hair.
take your order. Actually, while I'm out here tonight, I've been doing a lot of TV shows lately, like Tonight Show, big deals, and I begin to realize that in order to succeed in television, you have to appeal to everybody, from the garbage collector right on down to the business executive. And I realize that there's one group I'm just not appealing to. In fact, very few people have even tried to appeal to them. Dogs. Now, a lot of dogs watch TV, and there's nothing really on that they can enjoy, maybe a couple of dog food commercials, and that's it, So I took it upon myself, and I worked up a comedy act for dogs. Now, I know that sounds stupid,
Here's some
but I did the act
cartoon
for
from
my
this
dog.
ridiculous pandemic.
He went into hysterics. He would get some of the
I highlighted the ones I actually think are funny.
and they were on the floor, rolling with doggy laughter. Now, the weird thing is, you have to sort of take this into account. If you're a human being, you won't get the jokes. It'll be just like, what?
Well, you
If
get
you
it.
have a dog,
Look at them
pull
witches.
over, let him sit in front of the TV screen.
Oh, I
'cause
highlighted
think
them
you're gonna see him
too.
crack
Sure
up for
did.
the first time.
All right.
Now, I'm gonna wait a few seconds for you to go get your dog and bring him back because I don't think you should miss this to really see that dog crack. So I'll just wait.
Definition. These are websites,
Okay, got him there. Hi, Pooches.
and they have terms of service, so individual terms of service.
Down to the studio, some dogs that I
And so where some
report
people
to
think
sort
that
of
my point of view is
get the timing
anti-free
down,
speech, I say the funny thing is,
and so I don't have to add any can marks later on. So,
that
it's a
I am
live audience here. Here we go,
free
my
speech, and in
fabulous
fact,
comedy act.
my point of view is completely in line
Poodles and collies.
with libertarian perspectives. Why do I think that that's ironic? Because so many of the people that espouse libertarian or anarchist model precepts, like Project Compromise, like David, like Alex Jones, like Rand Paul, like Stephen Molyneux, like Sticks Hexenham the 666, when push comes to shove, and the unregulated corporation that is Google and its subsidiary, YouTube, or that is Twitter, acts in an unregulated manner that they don't like, they bitch on and complain about it not being fucking fair. They're on the record. Bitching out about it not being fair. And I ask the question, freedoms of speech, freedoms of Congress and association. At what point do we assume that merely because it's popular, that YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter are somehow morally and ethically obligated to sponsor and promote points of view that they, as individual corporations, find abhorrent? They're not the United States government. They owe no one any freedom of speech. And we've talked about it before. Even freedom of speech has delineation. Thankfully, rightfully so. It's my freedom of speech. So what I like to do is I'll hang on the grocery store and I wait for a little old lady. I don't touch her. I don't harm her. I just kind of follow behind her, kind of all weird, like, and I say, "Oh yeah, penis and vagina, destiny, penis and vagina." Every time in a while, a little girl gets her period bleeds. And when the cops try and get me, I say, "Freedom of speech, man! I ain't do nothing but say words." Yeah, the fucking creepy, weird fashion.
Creepy and
it was fucking bizarre. You don't have ultimate freedom of speech. No one fucking does. Don't be childish. Don't be stupid. Where's the fine line? It's hard to delineate. But we know it exists. I tell you, I'm a pretty freaky guy. I know that there's shit that's obscene.
Well, it's kind of a serious thing. I mean, actually.
I know there's some material, some stuff that my point of view is that it shouldn't be.
See, I started out, I knew that animals needed entertainment,
and I want to be nuanced about it. I don't want to be a dictator. But at the same time, here's reality time.
And then it's just like,
there are terms of service that exist on YouTube. There are terms of service that exist on Facebook, and there are terms of service on Twitter. And if you don't pay attention to them, and you don't heed the reality of the situation, this is kind of an open way to carry Cassidy. If you don't heed the situation, you run the risk.
All
of being
manufactured names in a
and here's the dirty
premeditated
little
script
secret.
to
This is a
cover
preview,
me
kind of
up
preview.
and my identity.
I'm not saying this because I want it to be the case. Hello to Blue Eyes, long time no see. I am not saying the following because I want it to be the case. I think it should be the case. I'm saying it because I just think it's the case. Because we're going to get to, when we get to Carrie Cassidy, we're going to get to her talking about alternatives to YouTube. And I'm going to put forward this idea. There is no good alternative to YouTube. There is no ready-made alternative to
Nowhere to
Twitter.
go.
There is no ready-made alternative to Facebook. Why?
You don't believe.
Well, two things basically that are at play for each of these individual websites, some more than less. I'll talk about Twitter and Facebook first.
It's not
Twitter and
bargain beauty,
Facebook,
is it?
try and come up with an alternative to Facebook, and it's been tried multiple times. There was an attempt earlier this year, last year, to create a kind of a Facebook for the alternative health, metaphysics, conspiracy, UFO community called On Stellar.
What is it?
Right? It was going to be Facebook for us. And it was going to be tied to a kind of a cryptocurrency methodology. We know that, what's his face? Jimmy Church was an advocate in promoting it for a while. Wasn't Corey Good?
18 Church Street, where the hair emporium was located.
Corey Good, was he on Oddstellar?
Corey Good made a jackass out of himself today.
A whole bunch of people tried
I
to get
commented
involved.
and tweeted.
But here's the thing. What makes Facebook, what makes Twitter, and then for Twitter, they tried to have that Gab AI, right? Gab AI was going to come
Social
over.
media should
Just
not
like
be
on Stellar,
propaganda.
it had a cryptocurrency
No.
participation in it.
I
To
object.
generate its own, what do you call it? Proprietary cryptocurrency.
You mean sole
I believe this is
proprietorships?
correct. And the guy that founded Gab AI was did an appearance over at Joe Rogan. So this thing didn't
They keep
suffer
saying to
from
me,
lack of promotion.
R.I.P. Joe Rogan.
But
I
even
still
Gab
don't know
AI,
why.
what was Gab AI was going to be? It was going to be an
Where's
alternative
that
Twitter
dadgum Jimmy
that had
touchdown?
unbounded free speech. A pure libertarian model when it came to the analysis of free speech. Why? Because people were complaining
Jimmy
about
touchdown,
being
front and center.
shadow banned on Twitter, or that Twitter was getting rid of conservative or alt-right accounts, what have you. Gab AI failed to flourish, Stellar failed to flourish because you can't just make Facebook a Facebook happen, right? You can come up with your own brand of soda pop, but it's not necessarily the case that even if your soda pop kicks ass, tastes great,
Oh, if it has high fructose corn
low in
syrup,
sugar,
it's not welcome anymore.
healthy,
No,
there's no guarantee
just natural
that
cane
you're
sugar
gonna
soda
bust
from
on
now
it
on.
and be
In the perfect
Coca-Cola
place.
or be Pepsi-Cola.
It'll be natural sugar.
We don't know
You can't
exactly what
digest
makes a total runaway
aspartame.
success, a total runaway success.
Okay, you have it in mind. Show it to the people at home so they'll know.
Razone points out, for the record, see the classic CW video from 3 years ago, protesting Facebook terms of service for doing it wrong. Absolutely. At the time, that was all the people that were this kind of viral campaign where people would post
When
on
you guys are
Facebook,
making those secret
basically
pages
like
and
a
doing all
counter
the
statement to their stated
dirty
terms of
deals
service.
done dirt cheap,
Facebook basically says,
when you're
you want to
hacked
post
into my
anything you want to
computer,
Facebook,
I
we'll
know all
host it.
about it.
Guess what? Anything you post onto
They
Facebook,
busted you,
we
Tubby.
kind of own.
Remember?
And I had friends who were doing this.
How'd your
They
test
post
go
this
from
thing like,
yesterday? Are you awake
open
yet?
letter to Facebook. Please be so advised that me posting this, anything to
I knew he was going to be up
Facebook
to no
would
good
remain my
tonight,
intellectual
y'all.
property, yada, yada, yada.
I got
And
my
I just said
ass
no,
in gear and
because
was ready.
when you signed on to Facebook, you clicked and agreed to
No,
their
single
terms of service.
platform.
They never
Put me
agreed
on
to your
every
terms of
social
service. They
media.
didn't show up,
And I never had
right,
an
to
option.
Mendoza's
And
door
people
and
were
say,
running it, and
"Here
I
you
didn't
go."
know
It's
because
in
I'm
the
a
cease and
dumbass
desist letter.
and nobody taught me
The
how to
cease
use
and
a
desist letter
computer.
without,
We have been over it.
judicial approval, like just a cease and desist letter. It's like, I made you say that. It's like it's a warning with no follow up, unless you got some sort of like
Look,
meat
Tubby,
potatoes behind
we've been
you.
warning you for years.
It's nothing.
All right,
I hereby declare
it's your
that
feathering.
all people in the live chat are contractually obligated to take off all their clothes and dance around in the nude for my enjoyment. If you're in the live chat now, you didn't just immediately click on, you tacitly agree. Now that's an
This is a
expression.
nice psychiatrist named Bob Newhart. One of my favorites.
You don't have to do, but that's the point. It's an
Suzanne
illustrative point.
Plachette,
I'm not asking you to do
great
it.
team.
Unless you want it. If you want
Dry
it,
New York humor.
privacy of your own home.
I
Don't
love
be
it,
telling the cops that I told you to do it, right?
obviously.
If you, hey man,
Tag the
did
glitch.
you know if you play that CW chant for YouTube clip backwards,
On my
he
phone.
tells you that he loves you?
Tag it again for
I
confirmation
know
of
where it's
spirit.
going that somewhere. Yeah, and Richard Daniel points out part of the terms of service is that they can change the terms of service at any time. Ain't that some shit? But guess what? Those are the terms of service. And if you don't like them, here's the thing. You don't have to be on YouTube.
But you can speak up to the public about what's really going on there because it's dirty.
You don't have to be on Twitter.
You have the
People
right
like Carrie
of
Cassie
free
are
speech to
somehow under the
report
misguided
what you
impression
see on
that they are
Facebook
doing
or
something
YouTube.
for YouTube.
And it's the first
Do you know
time
that, what is it, 300
that anybody
gigs
ever
of data
reported it
are uploaded to YouTube?
publicly.
Is it every minute or
Talking
every
to a
hour?
damn web bot. I don't have
I
time.
forget what the actual number is. But if any particular YouTube channel goes away, even PewDiePie,
All right, you're asking for it, dumbass.
YouTube is going to keep on going because just like Facebook and Twitter, the primary
Let's
value,
tag,
something that Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube
Sam
didn't
Telfer
create themselves, they were
to
just
Catherine Roby
a success
and
story.
automation and how it works behind the scenes. I
Do you
confirmed
want
it
to create an
earlier.
alternative to YouTube, Facebook or Twitter? Good luck. Because
Good
what
luck
makes
to you.
Facebook,
You can't
what
use
makes
a
Twitter,
fake
Twitter,
alias
is not that the
and cry that
technology
somebody
and
doxed you
interface
out.
is so
What kind of
fucking
fucking
genius, people
stupid
can't get
are
over
you?
it.
You mental
It's because that's
ill
where the participants are,
entity.
right?
Don't ask me to call him
If
gentleman.
you want to promote anything, whether it's
I'll
a
promote
pure
the
marketing
truth.
angle,
And
you're
then you'll
trying to
say I'm a
promote
liar?
product,
No.
or it's
See,
you
this
as
is
a personality,
harassment,
a comedian,
gang
an actor,
stalking,
an actress,
data
a pundit,
hacking,
a
and
political
everything
point of
I've
view.
testified to. And you will not stop.
If you're trying to do something,
And you wonder why
there's
you're
very little
contagious
point in doing it.
with a plague
In a
that's
vacuum.
sweeping the earth.
You want to promote your material and create your
You want to
content
suck Crowley's dick.
there are viewers.
Oh,
So I've said it before and I'll say it again.
and
Prove
you
me
think
wrong. I could turn out to be
Blavatsky's
wrong.
the bee's knees.
BitChute,
Tag Melvin.
what was it? There was a BitChute.
You don't know your ass from a
There's
hole
all
in the
sorts of
ground.
alternatives to YouTube that people are trying to do. Vimeo, that's been around since Christ was a child. Daily Motion, that's big in France. What's the other one? Besides BitChute?
He always wants Kelly to answer
It's got like a funky name. They almost think they could sing.
while she sits on the couch sick. It's pathetic.
D-Live,
And
there's
she knew he
D-Live.
infected her.
There's
And
another
they
one,
talked
right?
about it yesterday.
What the heck?
No. No.
Twitch.
You're
Well,
a
Twitch is a
walking
successful too, but
kamikaze
Twitch has their own
disease
problem. Let me
festival.
open up the window.
But if everything you say is a lie, then you are telling the truth. But you cannot tell the truth because everything you say is a lie. But you lie, you tell the truth, but you cannot believe love. Illogical. Please explain. You are human. Only humans can explain the behavior. Please explain.
Right,
The point is this.
I'm speaking about human behavior because I'm human. And a lot of people merged with technology, unfortunately, and lost some humanity.
You must.
There's a reason why YouTube can do what it does. Not screen it. They're all crazy. Those are all good. Don't
Tag
worry.
Mr. Computer Head.
Everything that is in error
There's no
must
way
be sterilized. There
that
are no exceptions.
And the webbot,
D-Live,
webbot
right,
slash
all these
boy
things, or BitChute
Omar
is going to
Corona
be able to store
and
these
tag
gigs and gigs
Omar
of
Corona's
data
avatar to
that you
code.
wouldn't expect in
And
life.
that's why they put it
And
on
that's why it's never
Corona.
gonna be a
And that's
real
why they're
alternative.
blaming
Guess
Elvis
what?
for all of
No
this.
one's ever referred to
As
it.
fucked
Don't
up
get
as
me
it
mixed
is, and
up.
I've got the proof.
Oh, this
Why
person
can't I
doesn't
talk
have
about
to
Elvis?
pay
Who's smoking Pratt?
whatever. You know what I mean? It's nothing compared to YouTube. It's like talking about, it's not even comparing the sales figures of RC Cola to Coca-Cola. It's comparing the sales, it's not even comparing.
Yeah, we want him down.
And you have not corrected by sterilization. You've made 3 errors.
Error. Examine.
Or flawed and imperfect. Execute your prime function.
I shall analyze error.
Going.
Regrets serving the instrument of his death. The instrument of his death will under the Enterprise flag now. M5, tie-in. M5, this is Captain Kirk. You will be under attack in a moment. Sentries have recorded approach of ships. You have already rendered 1 starship either dead or hopelessly crippled. Many lives were lost. The ships attacked this unit. This unit must survive. This unit is the ultimate achievement in computer evolution. It will replace man so man may achieve.
Got a little show and
Man does
tell.
not risk death in space or other dangerous occupations. This unit must survive so man may be protected. Yep. Attack force almost within phaser range. There were many men aboard those ships. They were murdered.
Boys are back. It'll get loud for a
Must
minute.
you survive by murder? This unit cannot murder. Murder is contrary to the laws of man and God. But you have murdered. Scan the Starship Excalibur, which you destroyed. Is there life aboard? No life, because you murdered it. What is the penalty for murder?
Yeah.
Death. And how will you pay for your acts of murder? This unit must
That's right.
die.
Do 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 do.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Up there, right.
Many more.
There's going to be a wedding on television tonight. The groom gives his age as 37. His fiancée, Vicky Bettinger, says
And she
she's
goes
17.
into some length of explaining what has happened to her. So for people who don't know, who are not YouTube content creators, let me try and create a bit of a thumbnail to bring you up to speed with some of the stuff that we're talking about to kind of make sense of this. So when you have a YouTube channel of a certain, it used to be automatic. People like Terry Cassidy used to become quote unquote YouTube partners, which means you were able to monetize your content on YouTube. First, it was just through earning ad revenue and ads run on your YouTube videos by YouTube. It would be paid through a subsidiary organization of Google called Google AdSense. Later on, this also included a super chat donation, which of course are very popular with live streaming, the live streaming protocols that a lot of people use. Okay, so what happened after a while is that there was something called the YouTube ad.
Tag his nose. The parasite is in his nose.
Points of view as to what happened.
He's been infected several times
Some people claim that
since
in order
this all
to stifle
began.
free speech, YouTube was
It's almost like a
demonetizing
period, like
certain people's channels and particularly
cycling.
demonetizing certain particular videos.
A certain frequency comes in contact with it. The parasites start wiggling around. I think the frequency is when he tells the most sadistic of the lies.
Take a video
Tag
that
it.
was set for monetization and selectively demonetize individual videos, saying, in effect, we don't think that this particular video is appropriate for ad revenue, that advertisers aren't interested in having their advertisements run on a, Hitler was the greatest, military leader of all time. He was also really
Tag
really
Steiner.
smart.
This is about Steiner.
Right? If you're going to make some
And Steiner
crazy
wasn't a
video like that,
military leader,
guess what? Advertisers might be.
but he was an expert in
a little
everything.
reluctant to somehow, any way, shape, or form, appear to be supporting or gaining traction off of your content. So this ended up.
It is. I brought the content first. It had never been online. And they know it. And they always knew it. Idiot.
People that are making videos about Star Wars fan theories, or people who are making YouTube videos about, model trains, or or cooking channels, or
Remember,
comic book
Elvis
appreciation
says
channels,
you do it
or
like
comedy
this.
channels, or pure vlogging channels. A lot of
Okay.
people are
Oh,
complaining
wait,
that
let me
their
get
videos
that
are
action
being
from him.
demonetized, even though there was nothing essentially offensive about them. There were allegations
So,
by some parties that
okay,
this
you go like
demonetization
this.
process
And then,
was
of
being
course, you're
selectively
flipping off with this
targeted
finger.
to
Now, the most
alt-right or
important
conservative
thing
viewpoints.
is
That
these
YouTube
two
were a
fingers
bunch of
are supposed to be like that.
homo-loving,
You're supposed to be able to do it flat and go any direction you want.
assholes
When you flip
who
off
didn't
the
like
asshole
any,
that's
white
offending
people,
your spirit
essentially, right? Those are
and
the words that
lying
went down.
and committing
Anyway,
acts
that
of
whole
treason.
thing was called the
And it's all
Apocalypse.
true.
I put forward.
And you guys
an
know I've been
alternative
talking about it
viewpoint.
for
I'm sure I'm not
years.
the only one who did, which is
Okay,
the
so if you're doing it
apocalypse
with
was
this
not the
hand,
result of
I always
any
have
sort
a
of
harder time with
political
my right
problems
hand.
or kerfuffles or real a designation of a
You
lot
know,
of
it's
YouTube
like
content being,
it's like a spring
really
trigger happens
unscrupulous
in
or
my
bad.
finger.
I came
This
up
has
with the
got to
solution
stay
of the fact that the
straight. This
economy
has got to
sucked
be
and
open,
people were spending
circular,
a lot less
and these two have to be folded in.
on
Okay,
advertising.
so
And
if I
I don't think
manually
anyone
put it there,
expected this.
this
There
gets
was
all
too
shrunk
much
up like
content on YouTube
it
being
looks like a bunny
monetized.
rabbit or
If
something.
you had
It
over
doesn't work.
1,000 subscribers,
I can do
you
it
could monetize your content. Do
easily,
you know how many channels have
easily,
over 1,000 subscribers?
with my
I have
profane
a
left
little over
hand
5,000
that I
subscribers,
call him
as
a
of
loser by.
this day,
See,
right?
doesn't work over here on this hand.
That really impresses my mom. She thinks I'm a rock star, right? 5,000 subscribers on YouTube.
You know, these
She's
guys
like, holy, my son
made
has
money
5,000
off
subscribers on YouTube.
my
Right?
intellectual property and all my creation,
blue
and
suede shoes.
I haven't made
She
a
thinks I'm
penny or a
rock
nickel or
and
a
roll
dime,
god.
and they all got busted
If she met
stealing through
PewDiePie in the mall,
whatever
she would
medium
tell
they
him
did
she's
through their
C.W.
unethical
Chandler's mom.
hacking.
You know?
But there's
C.W.
always been good
Chandler.
hackers
You know how many
that
dingleberries have 5,000
got put away
subscribers?
because of what the bad ones
That's
did.
not revolutionary.
And so we're just
There's
closing
a
up
ton
this
of motherfuckers
chapter.
with 5,000 subscribers. To say nothing of the
It's not about
tons and tons
subscribers.
of motherfuckers with
It's
over
about
1,000
content
subscribers. Basically,
and
you hang
intent
out on YouTube
and
for more
algorithm.
than a year and you're committed to making daily,
Guess who they model
semi-daily
an
content,
algorithm after?
you're gonna get to 1,000 subscribers.
I could give a shit.
Trust me, it'll happen. Don't worry, relax.
It's already way bigger than that. That's where you're a dumb cough.
I get it. Well, they will figure it out.
You ain't figuring out
Six's
shit.
Design has put a YouTube a link to a video.
Be careful
about
of links. They're
the
usually
apocalypse
tainted
into the
and
live stream
dirty.
for your edification.
Another way they get your
Live
data.
chat for your edification. So
What did he just say? Watch out for
the
your own
bottom line being
edification.
is this: the demonetization
Blow me
was a thing that
sideways.
used to happen selectively, and people like Carrie Cassidy and people like a lot of people in this community and the alternative community.
He's not allowed to
complain
say my
about
name, and
demonetization. They used to
there's
joke,
serious
if you say one
consequences
bad
each time
word,
he does.
That's it. You're demonetized.
But he's
For a
got
while, the whole
no
thing was you couldn't say the
content,
name
and that's why I haven't been
COVID-19.
talking,
Everyone
because
was like,
nobody
"Oh,
can
but by
say anything sensible,
being
like even
or
Corey
the
making an
current
ass
health
out of himself.
crisis,
They
but
get the
apparently
answers
she
from me
says,
talking
Carrie
so
Cassidy
much.
made a video called "Update."
And that's
Trump
why everybody
vaccines
makes me
and the art of
insignificant
war.
while they
First point is she says
prostitute
that she
anything
was
that I try to do to help
demonetized. Her
in any
channel was
shape, way, or form.
demonetized completely. She tells us that means that it's not that individual videos are demonetized. She no longer has the option of monetizing her channel, which means she can no longer get ad revenue.
Hacked in a negative way,
super chat donations,
and I do not have my verification that I always had.
Without notice,
they have mirrored and cloned.
She was given no
all of my
avenue
stuff.
of recourse.
Use my pictures in profane ways.
She goes on to state that the money that she makes off of her YouTube channel
take up space in the computer, even though I don't have a copy of my own.
And she therefore needs to find a new platform.
And tag.
She points out
Blue
that
eyes because she said I'm an idiot.
From the beginning,
because my computer's full.
With the YouTube forums for 15
Through them
years,
manipulating,
and she doesn't know why they're doing it. Let me just
doing
take
things
that and
to
that, because this
ruin
goes
my
to the heart
experience.
of a lot of the problems that I have with Carrie Cassidy.
Well,
which is for a person that claims
there was
to be
so much coming at me, and then no one ever educated me
on the material plane, right?
But my old friend has educated me, and that goes back to Biggie.
Science and the news. She claims to be in tune spiritually. That her fucking crown chakra is open. She's a spiritual healer. She's an intuitive empath, and
everybody knows I do healing work. Here again, but you use Carrie Cassidy's name, and she's nothing but a fake ass psyop, fucking alias name.
I don't think that Carrie Cassidy.
And you guys have wasted 6 years of my existence.
I think she's dumber than me. I think she's a stupid person. I really do. And we're going to go through this.
Oh, because I didn't choose to go to a
objectively that
institution
she's not an person
called college.
Anyone
you fucking
that
kidding?
knew and understood
that's what fucked everybody
what
up.
was going on in
And then he
in the
cries
world
about it like
today,
his daddy
and
forced
especially
him.
what was going
Give
on
me
in
a
our
break.
community,
Little
do not
rich
claim
bitch.
that she doesn't
Dork.
know that this happened
Little
without
fucking
notice, and
bully.
that she didn't have any
They got
warning, or
bullied
that
when
she
he
doesn't
was
know
little.
how it happened. If
And
she
he
doesn't
won't
know how her
stop
channel
bullying
got demonetized,
and
she
lying
can't read English
and
because
stealing.
apparently Google issued her a statement
And he's a
told her exactly
lawyer.
what
And
the
anybody
deal
wants to
was.
know what the fuck's wrong with the world.
Oh, Resume says, Kenny
That's
always
bullshit.
directs messages to YouTube saying,
And it's
"Hey,
not a
YouTube,
comedy
I
act.
was an original YouTube director since 2006. Why are you doing this to me?" As if the company hasn't changed since then.
Palo
Also,
Santo.
she's under the
Sacred
impression,
wood.
look, she gets her new subscribers numbers again at the end. And I want to say her subscriber numbers are impressive compared to me. Oh, subs are 261,000. That's not that big a deal. YouTube doesn't know who Carrie Cassidy is, and they don't give a fuck about Project Camelot. This is the same thing with Mendoza acting as though if he leaves Gaia, Gaia is going to really financially suffer.
Hey, let's
You
talk
know?
about time travel.
This is like the father from Good Times.
You never remember his name, though.
Either you put this Jimmy Walker character in its proper place and context for the show where we're doing good things for the African American community, or I'm going to walk. At which point the fucking white Jews in Hollywood said, "Don't let
He's using
the
race war, tag it.
ass on your way out of here, James." Right? They told fucking Ed. What's his
In
name?
every different community, they talk
Take a
about the
walk.
same story but use different
Anywho,
names.
John Amos.
That's what I've discovered through
Is that John
my
Stamos?
investigative
Don't even get
dedication
me started
to
on what they
this
did to Uncle Joe.
nonsense.
Anywho, okay. So she's demonetized.
He says anywho because my dad said anywho,
and without recourse.
and my dad knew it got on my last
without
nerve.
Notice, she had plenty of notice.
See, they know
We're all
everything that I've
talking
disclosed.
about David
They
Icke
just
getting
go into
kicked off of
research and get
YouTube. And when
information.
David Icke got kicked off of YouTube, they made it explicitly known. They pointed out. They said, "There's
What
a
happened
change.
to go?
There
What's
was a
going on
change
over
to our
here?
YouTube terms of service. Mr. Icke didn't heed those changes.
His
to the
videos
YouTube
are so
terms of
quiet.
service, and therefore he got kicked off.
Let's just
I
skip
am
right
not
over that.
defending the terms of service. I am reporting them to you so you know and understand what happened to David Icke and what has happened to Carrie Cassidy. YouTube said to all of us content creators, if we cared enough to be informed by reading their emails and by opening up notices.
They took all my emails and stuff. I don't have any of it.
That any
people from around the world try to get a hold of me, and I look like a bitch because I don't get back with them.
That was contrary to the teachings of the Centers for Disease Control, the World Health Organization, etc. In other words, anything that went against mainstream medicine and science.
I'm glad you brought that up, CW, dumbass.
Them to you.
Let me bring the book into evidence.
Channel demonetized and eliminated.
Everybody slow down.
Now people can be tax protesters. You can say
no, I pay my taxes.
And thereby don't
it's these guys that have stolen my social security number and got busted because I did pay my taxes and I make under the amount that you would have to pay them. I pay them because I get a return. And it's the right thing to do. Tag it. No, you don't throw good people into jail. You don't do it.
Going to jail because she won't give up her seat to a white lady. You can protest an unjust law, but
is he stupid or what? Let's bring this in real quick. I want to show you something. This is a book called Practical Bacteriology, Blood Work, and Parasitology. You know, the study of, okay? Let me turn the TV off and let's be serious for a minute. Okay, so it includes clinical notes, and this book is actually a very well-known doctor's who, when he passed, his family didn't care about these books. You know, that happens a lot. And my client knew that I was interested in all this because I've been studying it 35 years now. But I was allowed to go over to this doctor's home and go through his books. So this has an official seal on it. You can see it's raised, like on a birth certificate, you know, the real deal. And it's the diagnostics and treatment of tropical diseases. Why is that important? Worms and parasites, like I've been talking about, and bacteriology and stuff in the blood. And, you know, I study blood type. I live for my blood type. I'm not bullshitting anybody, and everybody really knows that, but they won't stop. And they can't get caught in all their lies. And I get it, but I have the right to speak up and tell the truth. Okay, so down here it is signed John R. Weeks, U.S. Department of Agriculture, just to bring that into the record. This is a serious, serious piece of education, and I dare say that no one at the CDC has a copy of this book. I would dare say across every hospital, there is not one copy of this book where they would get the real information that was published in 1927. Because, like I've talked about, once they outlawed homeopathy from hospitals in 1929, that's when people started not having enough sense to know when they're sick or not. But what I did today, just so you know, I went through the index, starting at the letter N, just because that's what I opened up to, and I tagged everything that was relevant to what I need to convey. Now, the thing that I'm wanting to talk about later a little bit also is what I discovered, which is proof beyond a shadow of a doubt of everything that we've ever spoken about, and that they actually could know something wasn't going to happen until 1920 or 2020, right now, 2020. But back in a very famous book that I've used my own self called You Are Being Lied To, they wrote about it in 1999, but no, they didn't really write about it. And here's the key. The guy who would be the top cheese, of course, his pen name is Russ Kick, K-I-C-K, like I'm going to kick you in the butt, right? And Russ says under no circumstance can you reproduce this work. Can you read it verbatim? Can you can't do it. But I've discovered the reason why. And so I need to tag it with Dum Dum's disclosure over there because, of course, you know what's going on. Well, what he says is that he wanted to provide a well-rounded group of experts writing at the time, you know, which is the 90s, you know, that he wanted it to be well-rounded. He didn't want it to have really like association. So he's saying that don't think that he agrees with each of the contributors if he was rating it on a scale of 1 to 10. Like every one of them, of course, is fascinating and has a bit of the truth, but there's some more than others, I guess, that would, you know, have certain subjects or gravitate to each other. Anyhow, not one of the stories that you read in We Are Being Lied To, not one, had any paper copy. And so, you know, to me, that would mean, because I'm obviously a writer, even though I don't write, and there's a lot of other skills that I would really be much better at instead of bitching at a shill. But that's not relevant right now. So, back in my day, with the secretary background, you would always write your rough draft, you know, your basic bullet point ideas. It wasn't a bullet point yet because language still flowed. Bullet point broke everything up into specific subjects, and it's very good for corporate structure. But when it comes down to feeling what the author is trying to convey, that's not what a bullet point's about. That's like picking one name to describe a phenomena. They want to simplify it and make it as short as possible to get your interest, to get you to keep pursuing it, you know, and then it layers out from there. And if you're an expert, you know all the different ranks. And if you don't, then it's just like having some rich bitch pay for you to go to college when you just want to party all the time. And that's why some people have to go to college for 8 years, you know. I don't get it. But back to the point, not one article came into him handwritten or typewritten, or there was that thing before the computer, and didn't they call it like data processing or something? So they, when I went to school to type, you know, typewriters have this angle, you know what I'm saying? And so you got to sit proper at a desk, you know, because a lot of people that work on computers, you know, they get all fucked up because they're like this or whatever. But when your typewriter is elevated, it's easier to have proper posture. And when you learn how to do keyboard, I know you can't see what I'm doing down here, it doesn't matter, but my hands are placed in front of the letters on the middle row. So that's A through L. And when you, I just said that wrong. It's A through F is the first four, and then J through colon, semicolon. So proper placement, as many of you know that work on the computer, is pretty similar to a typewriter. And of course, your index can go to G or H easy, or go up to Y or T, or down easily to N, M, or V, or C. You know, it's all what's in reach as you type. But it wouldn't matter what, everything that is in Russ Kick's book was only on digital. It was only taken with permission, of course, from the World Wide Web. You know, I'm not really on the World Wide Web, which is funny and it's all stupid, and I'm not really interested. But the point is that it broke the code for me, and I knew what is going on, and I'm not going to talk about it more because that's not what's important. What's important is how I knew what I needed to do with this book that would be over 90% of every physician's head today, because it's no longer talked about, promoted, endorsed, or brought to the forefront of any intelligent conversation. They've turned everything into bullshit. Not because they meant to. The world's too stressful to live in. And I made a monster tweet today about it, but that's not neither here nor there either. So here's the point. I'm working with the book. I go into this elaborate thing that I have to break it down so I can do a show for you guys. And I'm thinking how important it is. So this is why I haven't been online. But I took 3 different highlighters, a couple of thin things I could underline. And, like when we were in grade school, we learned like 1 line underlined for a noun or 2 for a verb or, whatever the teacher taught. And you learned what sentences really meant. So I was going to make my own code that was more in the subject we're talking about. And there's a many subjects going on in this 7 or 8 pages of coded information that I've already got it. I'm there, but here was the deal. All right, since I'm irrelevant, the new ad that's on every YouTube where the shrink tells you're the guru, kind of looks like an old Dwayne Dyer kind of dude, nice guy, bald. And he's explaining how, their course is going to help you deal with all this. And in the end, none of these people can really help, and they've hidden me, and I've brought help. And, like Chandler says, I mean, they ought to court-martial me because the CDC doesn't acknowledge it. Oh, bullshit, they do too. And it's in their own medical books, and they know that their back's against the wall because I actually bring flippin' evidence. I wasn't here to be in a fucking drama community or some bullshit murder stories or some Ponzi schemes. I don't really believe that is how I found YouTube when single platform put me on every damn thing of media across the board and put me out here. A lot of people, like who is the one dude, that Ken Whitehead and Michael Tessarian. Well, when I first came online in 2014, I knew what Tessarian was stepping in, and he was brazen, and I knew he didn't really like necessarily have a respect for females when it would come to important subjects. He's a man's man and whatever. But I was able to communicate, and he got kind of fucking snippy with me. Now, back in the day, fucking Michael Tessarian used to make 4-hour videos, 8-hour videos, 12-hour videos. It was all technical. It was all intense and heavy. And once he fell out of that top tier of live action role players because of his intent and twisting and inverting things, and he couldn't help it. He got fucked up. A lot of people got this mind virus that had been on the computer for over a decade, which is why dumbass would tell you that, like Corey Goods got mental fucking dementia because he's been involved in this crap for 5 years. I think the reason why they got it is because they acted like they had it. And like I said on Twitter today, man, fuck, between the placebo effect and 80% of all diseases are the origin to 80% of all what they call diseases. One of the main indicators is stress, whether it's mental, environmental, physical, emotional, and people that are just out there to stress people out and they think it's cute or funny or entertainment, the days are fucking done. And I'm not saying it to be a bitch. I'm saying it for the survival of the species. And of course, he's sick, and over 3 years ago, he was bragging that he's dead and he's still alive and he's still doing what he's doing. Well, you know what? Here again, what American is going to stand up and say that that's okay? And they involve themselves in political discussions, religious discussions, financial discussions, or legal discussions. And I have always been accountable to every word I speak. And I stand like that now and today for this very reason. So let me wrap it up. I'm not saying nothing more because here's the amazing fucking thing. Now, since I'm the one that confessed to the world that I'm involved in some kind of telepathic link thing and yickety squack, and every word I meant, I've made hundreds of videos. Okay. Well, then, if I really believe that, wouldn't you believe that I was aware that this telepathic mind link secret technology fucking whoopty shit, which is a miracle. I think it's fucking cool. But in the meantime, I knew they already knew. It was like they were downloading it as I was processing it. And it was very organic, of course, because it's my life and I know the information so well as a holistic stylist and as a studier. Well, anyhow, at that moment, God and technology and even the devil his own self, they had no objection to me not trying with all my heart and soul to make a full, well-rounded show about what I just told you about. Because in the end, they already knew, and it really only matters that they know and I know. And no, I still can't say who they are, but they're funny as shit, aren't they? It's fucking amazing. But back to this book. Okay. So, like I said, I tagged what is relevant to what we are dealing with in all the medical terms. And it's going to provide the answers that these skeptics need to do their real motherfucking job, which is pretty cool. And it's not like rubbing it in or nothing, but it's a destiny. It's a thing that I was always meant to do. So for anybody that has a fucking issue with me fulfilling a mission, now you get the bigger picture, and it's much more fun to laugh at and mock, because that's what people do when they don't really understand something and they don't want to stand under it and say, yeah, Suze, you're right. I'm not asking anybody to do that. I went on this journey for me, and that's what I said from the start, and it was never about money or views, and that's why they did steal everything and make money on it, because that wasn't what I was in it for. Well, I came online to do legitimate business on YouTube, so you better fucking believe I came here to provide information and to get the right products out to people that they need to live their lives. And that is the truth. So help me God, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write all those things on a piece of paper, because it's alphabetical, you know what I mean? And what's to say that everything in one letter is all going to be in a grouping in the end. So if I make that list, rough draft, and then write my clean copy, here again, I won't have to do it on video. And none of these data thieves are going to be able to have it because there's only 3 entities in the mind link, and I've known that for years. The one can be 2. Either one of those 2 will always be there in this link.
I already told you.
The third one, I believe, allows experts and other people that bring no harm and are doing it for the right reason become that third link where, I mean, these people all have serious jobs. They can't always be in that position, and I get that. So anyhow, all I'll have to do is actually do the work quietly and meditatively, and they will pick it all up and assimilate it and get that information out. No different than they've been doing behind the scenes. So the next time that you forget about respect for any of these forms, that's why I begged everybody don't, because now people are seeing how serious it is. And just like when he said the COVID word, see, they've never really defined that word. And they did just what they did with Satanism and Luciferian, or Satanism, where they made those words one and the same and they made them interchangeable, and they're not. There's specific definitions that go beyond the one word, and some words have several definitions, which people will mock and use simple words like Catherine Roby did when she talked about it. So, see, they're all talking about it, and they're all watching, and they have these hives that they work in, and it's pretty fucking sick. And it does involve AI on their part. So tag that too. The point is, it's going to be much easier for me to work now. And I was never here to show off anyhow. They made it into something it wasn't. And all you can say is, what a dumbass, huh? But, I've always admitted I'm not perfect, and I've always admitted that it's a journey, and, for it to be mocked, it's a really good test in the rat trap, to see how people really feel about these things. And here again, I'm honored to do it, even if people don't like it. So let's get back to dumbass.
My position is that modern medical science works, and hokum quack conspiratorial homeopathic remedies do not. If you disagree with me, you disagree with me. At least you know where I.
The theory of Virchow, where homeopathy was always regarded as the highest of the sciences. There's more than one kind of medicine. All he knows is the modern petrochemical medicine. So I want to bring that to your attention. And something like Tums, which he would use often with that gut and that indigestion, that's basically calcium carbonate, which is homeopathy. And then, that stuff the teacher made, like when you go on the plane and you don't want to get sick or whatever, that's homeopathy too. So here again, the ignorant invert and twist and undermine any kind of progress that anybody that you will encounter has dealt with in this war.
Kerry Cassidy, the guy in the hat, Bill Ryan, and David Wilcock together. David Wilcock still relies upon his testimony. Kerry Cassidy still relies on his testimony, despite the fact that Bill Pratt was a convicted child molester. Also, Dan Bjork, another fucking loser in a tie-dye shirt.
They're all made up names and bullshit stories that come and go.
This is all bullshit.
And tag pedagogy, which is a Waldorf school concept about honestly loving children, not in a sick sexual way, loving them like a parent should, providing a true education, nature,
261,000
science, being outside,
YouTube that they're about to lose her.
music.
Like I said, they don't give a fuck.
Right, nobody gives a fuck if I die or I'm lost.
Honey, good luck. You know what?
No, it's a great thing for any human to say about another human. Good luck to you, fucking dumbass.
And a little bit of
See how hateful. What a waste. But I will defend myself, especially when I have support from the Invisible Man
one of the biggest sources of
and God.
alternative conspiracy theory, ufology, spiritual information on YouTube, because they're the best, because they're the most insightful, because they have the best editorial platform.
Honest, sincere, dedicated, yes.
That's it. Success breeds success, and a lot goes into success, and some of it is just timing.
Suck my ass, white ball. You know what I'm saying? You better say goodbye to your balls.
There's a band called the Pink Fairies, and I think it's the Pink Fairies.
Have no fear. Seek only to know yourselves and live in harmony with the ways of your planet Earth. We of the Ashtar Galactic.
Oh no, they're the pretty things. Okay, hold on.
Attention.
This is crazy. Okay. SF Sorrow was the name of a concept record. SF Sorrow is the fourth album by the English rock group Pretty Things, released in 1968 as one of the first rock concept albums.
Glasgow, believe it or not, law enforcement too from England, tag it.
But here's the thing.
And the lineage.
Tommy, and unlike Sgt. Pepper's released the same year after.
See, I know who I am in my heart, and then they tell me I'm a liar and wrong.
No one knows about it. No one knows about it.
Oh no, that's not true. Many people know about it. He lies.
Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and everybody knows about the Who's Tommy, right? And some of it is just what? Some of it is the Who, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles. Some of it is them being really special. Some of it's just fucking rock. Honestly, and timing, and being there first. Being there first. Getting it on the algorithm.
However, nobody has ever come forward to take credit for the transmission. It's understandable that they wouldn't do it immediately after, with heavy fines and jail as certain consequences to their actions. Now, for years since this incident, the mystery still remains as to who really was responsible. Whoever or whatever it was interrupting the signal that night, it certainly has provided us with a very strange but true story. Have you had contact with aliens? Do you have a strange occurrence that you would like
Extraterrestrials.
We would love to hear about it.
Fuck.
Send us an email to strangebutTrueStories2@gmail.com.
And aliens. And shapeshifters, dadgummit. You don't think they're shapeshifters. What the fuck? I'm just saying, who can prove there isn't?
It's greatly appreciated.
And if you have a bunch of different incarnations living one life, you would shapeshift. You'd have different shapes and different looks. Why can people... Why does it have to be like kindergarten? Don't blame it on me. Look, number one. You know his name was number one.
fabrication.
No, it's a real thing you guys made up.
This one was
You
invented.
and Shatner.
Not this time. It never happened. It's false. It never happened. It's a fake. It's fiction. It's an urban legend. It never happened. No
Mm.
way. We got you. Not a chance. Not this time.
See, they've been waiting to fuck these dorks up for a long time.
It's fiction. We made up this one. We made it up.
They're pretty skilled in it, I gotta
Not
admit.
this time. Not this time. You're wrong. Not this time. It never happened.
I'm not the troublemaker. They just go around and clean up messes that these people make.
Zu einem Weltstar gehört auch ein Welthit und macht ein. Sie hören seinen Erfolgstitel.
At least he was in 2000 when I saw Behind the Music. Where are they now about the dude? Right?
Telly Savalas in Sue's world.
Six Designs is Carrie Cass is also an established author. She wrote a book, Climate Gate, The Marijuana Conspiracy, Project Blue Book, Amazon. She has another one that's like saying something. Baby Jolly says CW Champion DM'd you the promo link for this stream. Okay, thank you for that. Oh shit. Okay, so for what we go 822, I gotta do this.
Hey, Mr. Computer Head. I want my chat.
I didn't
Where
get
you
to
at?
get you, but let me do this. Crypto
Oh, I don't
Bank
need one, that's right.
Trump, Hydroxy, RV, the remote viewers.
I'm no stinking wrench in anybody's shit. I didn't ask to be no wrench. I'm not your moderator.
Crew joining the White House.
What the hell?
It says here, Trump health questions positive. Right? He put that on his website, and now he thinks it's a hit because Trump said that he's been taking hydroxychloroquine in case he contracts the virus. And Dick Alligator asks, why would he take this if he was perfectly healthy? Which means that Dick Alligator assumes that there was a health crisis at the White House with Donald Trump, and therefore his remote viewing was a hit. But he said Trump health questions positive. Would that mean that he's positive? I don't know. Crypto's a great day. So for Baby Jolly, let me try and see if I can do a consolidation of a summation of today's broadcast. Carrie Cassidy has recently come out and said that her channel has been totally demonetized. Not that individual.
That's because she's a liar and a con.
But now she's been
Already weaseled too much money.
Not earn revenue from AdSense,
from the trust,
advertisements run on her channel, or from super chat donations. This clearly was as a result of her continuing to
plagiarize information.
YouTube's terms of service, which changed to not allow information.
She's not a real human lady. You kidding? She's a fucking biometric. Give me a break.
By the World Health Organization, CDC, etc.
Until you touch somebody, you don't know if they're real or not, kids.
Service in defense of those terms of service, but I'm just speaking out loud about that. So
sure
apparently, Carrie Cassidy is planning on taking the Project Camelot YouTube channel far afield and to other places. We were speculating today that she might have trouble doing that because the question remains whether or not there's a true viable alternative to
blaming everything on cigarettes. Give me a break. Everybody needs to learn how to count their poison.
Gigabytes and gigabytes of the 800 plus videos that Carrie Cassidy has accumulated in the 15-year history of Project Camelot on YouTube, whether or not monetization at any of those alternative websites could equal the AdSense revenue that she at one time saw on YouTube. So the question is out. Both for Carrie Cat, the viability of Carrie Cassidy and the Project Camelot project on YouTube or elsewhere. But it also raises other questions regarding the terms of service and how people are going to find and be able to work with YouTube's terms of service. Again, I've surmised and summarized those terms of service and said, if whether you like it or want it, whether you think it's a draconian measure or not,
aber nicht viel Zeit. You know, I stay understated. Ich stehe unter Damm. Ist das aber was? I think you're heavy on wire. Ich meine, Sie sind mächtig auf Draht. And I know I'm not on the woodway. Ich bin nicht auf dem Holzweg, wenn ich sag, oh, Ladies nennen Sie schöne Amerikaner. Verstehen Sie? What's that?
Interactive TV. Or just media in general, I see. Yeah, people are freaking out. That's all right. People want to know. They want disclosure. They want the truth. They want to know how it works. What do I mean, how have I not stepped up to provide that? Mystery. That's all right. Let's just focus on the guys, too. Not Tubby. Mr. Savalas.
Spot on. Yeah, I know you're stolen. What are you gonna say about that?
Was ich jetzt sagen würde? Na, ich bin beständig, Herr Inspektor. Meine Verlierung. Jawohl, ich habe ihn gestohlen, aber ich gebe ihn zurück. Ihre Lage und hoffe auf Bewährung.
Fantastic show.
Bravo.
Jack, natürlich im Pappbecher. Sie freut. Na dann. Ein Gruß, der gemütlich Dankeschön. Und natürlich ein Dankeschön über den großen Teich zu Telly
I
Savalas.
think that indicates that I've got a closed mind.
Dies der erste
Well,
Sketch
you
seines
know where I'm
Lebens
coming
gewesen
from, and
sein.
you know what context
Ich
you can
durfte
put
ihn
me in.
schreiben und
If I'm guilty of a crime,
Punk ass, psychopathic, mentally ill, shill
okay,
pill.
so I gotta wrap it
Pain
up.
in my
Hopefully that
ass.
serves as an honest, concise
It wasn't honest.
summation for those that would choose to do so. What we're inviting people to do.
Oh,
Baby Jack, give
brother.
another shout out to him. He's done a great job of taking little clips and putting them on his channel, because I know an hour and a half to an hour 17, an hour and a half, 2 hours, video is not the easiest way to get new people turned on into what's going on here. So if you find little clips that you like about the spiritual revolution, what does it mean home taking is allowed? There's an aspect of the social revolution that sums up one given point. Feel free to take it, put it on your channel. All I ask is that you give me photos.
Adam.
An ultimate submission, just remember. I love you, I love you. No one told you I love you today, some days it's good, but some days you look different, you feel comment, subscribe, leave comment in the comment section below, and share this on social media.
A lot of blonde Elvis running around over in Europe. Look at that hair. Shape shifting venomously, I'm telling you. It's the only thing that could take down a corrupt government, a nation, and world. The king of whoop-de-doo. No, you don't, Channer. Well, what the Sam hell is this? Oh, no, 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 no. Absolutely not. I'm not talking about it. Let's just see what this is, and then I'll get off the phone. I'll find out what we're watching. I should show you guys that tweet I made. This is called AI Black Goo, Raw Data, and CW Chatter. I never seen it. It's a video game. Shit. Hang on. This is on my private concert playlist. I want to get the audio up on the big girl. Right. Hang on a second. Where'd my mouse go? Come on. They're still talking about Miles Johnson. See, they're always on the wrong old psyop, and they keep getting knocked out as I'm doing my natural talent that I had no clue that was going to be something I really do well. Okay, focus, Suze. Private concert. Do. I put them here so they'd be in order and play right through with no ads. Was the purpose of that. Oh, Lord. Elvis, Shippity Squat. Planet of the Apes, you're the boss. He's your uncle, not your dad. Isn't all about them tonight. But what is this thing we're watching? All I see is Elvis. Oh. Is this the lost 1984 video? Young Steve Jobs introduces the Macintosh. No, it's AI Goo, Raw Data, and CW. Why am I confused? Because my screen... I know you guys can see me. What the hell? Hang on. Okay. There we go. Come on. Damn it. I need to clean my desk off. Okay. Here we are. And then I want to get the audio up on this, on the computer. And missing in action, Thomas Kerwin is who actually took the video on this, so I want to give him credit. And if he has an issue with me checking out CW's crazy game, he can contact me. Come on. Alright, it's a private concert, so I won't get to see it. Alright. Try not to freak out. This is private concert. Oh, here it is. Okay. So, just give me a second to turn down this. Cable-free live TV is here. Oh, no thanks. I get in trouble doing anything online. Sociopath. Damn.
So what we're going to be doing our field of study also.
I've never seen this.
You go there yourself, experience the information yourself, digest the information yourself, and reflect and say, okay, what's coming from, what's going on.
And they have been playing war games with technology through computers online. And that's why some people are sick. What is Thomas doing? Is he virtual reality? And he's talking about Miles Johnson on this game and was talking about Miles Johnson in his show. All right, that's important.
Have been associated with Miles Johnson YouTube channel on the Web Basis project. Specifically,
Tag Carrie Cassidy. Tag Conscious Consumer Network. Tag EMP weapons being used online. Heating up people's phones using their routers. And they're kamikazes. They're already infected and they don't care who they take with them. I stand behind every word that I am speaking and full well know the consequences if I'm wrong. You better play the game and realize it's real. And people get lost in the fakeness of it thinking it's just a game. And they get hurt in there. What a trip.
So I want to be very explicitly clear when we speaking about things that I just personally about. If you want to take time to say, acknowledge the contribution that had been ongoing, and also thank us for the contribution that we have in the past. I think it's very important. Speaking about my past, I just want to say there's several things that I just
I can get some tea.
It's very clear that obviously involved in personal experiences that we may have had in this life. So I should know essentially about that. Number two, I really do want to take this time to say, thank you, sir. Miles Johnson, historically, this is a record that was critically involved in very important because of the higher rating in Great Britain. Basically, you got to understand that even more so in America, the British, the BBC, the British, the government before that communications in Great Britain was stifling a lot of creativity, stifling a lot of musical, artistic, poetic, artistic creativity in many, many different ways. And the pioneers of Miles Johnson, and Sean Keel, began out to higher rating, and those things we were saying about the trade convention, the trade capacity, and with their lives. We did have a massive culture that just want to be such a thank you, Miles Johnson. Please kiss your ass to get hats. This movement, many things I say, we'll see, counterproductive to you at best, if not so was that this conflict behavior with all of this really that's huge trouble things, personal, people disabilities, right? That's how it is. Okay. So thank you, my brother, for all you did with Pirate Radio. Thank you for all the basis project. So this was much information for me personally, also much information. Okay. We're going to be starting with the basis 17. We're not going to talk about basis, just want to make sure. We're going to be talking about basis 17 because it's really the first one that I like to do this. And really start to specifically discuss.
I think he just said the first time he cheated. That would be in the technology game.
We have to forward either the previous cases or podcasts, YouTube, Q&A concentrate primarily on factual statements. Researchers who come out and say, this happened, this incident happened, this is what the record projections, models, pursue.
And I do want to make this disclosure and remind you guys that whether you call it a pen name or a stage name or an alias or a legal name where you change your name, all we know about Thomas Kerwin is allegedly he works up fairly high in government agencies, just like David Wilcock does through an alias by the last name of Castor, who was involved in the impeachment proceedings. So you see why it's such a different thing than when you actually use your real name. And there is a responsibility you have to speaking the truth. Whereas if you're under any different name other than the one on your birth certificate, you can act and pretend and be whoever you want. So I thought that was important to say. I have a very important meeting in the other room, but of course we are recording this and I will listen to it back and do whatever I can to decode it. I think for a game, it strikes me creepy, to say the least, how serious the conversation is and how technical it is and how much information is distributed through this. And then you think, wow, if you did that with real things in your life or interpersonal relationships or anything that really mattered besides this fairy tale land that is so destructive and so violent and so angry and so mean. I think it really does have a lot to do with this mind virus and this warfare through the internet and this alleged dementia, which the worm does eat up the brain, and you know they've made songs about it and all that good shit too. So good luck to us with the verbiage.
I don't want to see should be concentrated on the real skills behind it would might be strong, intelligent, political advocates for the education of some government officials, support the officials in ongoing problems to go on the things, and then we need to be distracted by political also also people are skeptical of government, trick you with conspiracies. I just want to say that the easiest thing for them to do would be to get this conspiracy theory so saying it's distracting people to distract you off the whole look, I don't know what backwards to say. How could I know that? I'm not at work simultaneously. I don't have the ability to just by looking at something say that it's controlling the world, maybe that's some sort of second black thing. But I do want to say that I trust you. Okay, for the most part, I think that people are good. Reaching science and history and medicine is a government. I'm surprised people who all to us if you decide to take a die. But rather for the most part, it's because people just like you and me, we're doing what that's for the one people around them. Right? This receptive majority of people that get thought. This is best practitioners, pharmacists, engineers, chemical engineers, surgeons, biotech engineers are out to sort of generalize people at large. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for them. It's in case of the damage, but it's just so trying to do that. You might be able to get the science. I also think very important to say the aspect of artificial intelligence, black phenomenon, has been connections to John's disease and John's syndrome. John's syndrome is a disease that is characterized by itching of the flesh with joint pain and multiple symptoms, including the specific symptoms, the spinous projection, growth, various parts of the body. When it comes to one of those diseases that is currently not recognized by the Center for Disease Control and the American Association and other international recognized. Most of in my own life, I had multiple experiences with great friends who have had diseases like unproductive things that are classified for some people as a disease, for some people as a disease. The personal frustration of a person can feel anxious into an illness. Every time they go to a doctor or medical practitioner, they're told that they're asymptomatic. There's no causal finding what's causing that medical treatment. There's no protection because of the protection. It's scary. It's frustrating. We're not here to answer frustration, but we need to talk about this. So there. We have to feel that. We should talk about maybe things people involved in the films feel that feel the point before. We're not sure or like one is telling them this doesn't help you. It doesn't help you if you have a disease that is over the jokers out there that are not jokers. There's a lot of things in a lot of ways that affect the industry. I've seen it all on the product without what you got. And we do all like a vaccine. My kids have some vaccine. The majority of vaccines are unstable. They don't have why. You know why. I'm not going to that's the thing. Or people who just introductory to the illness. This is what it is. The shortest video. The video is specifically about that specific project. The longer, to go through things that we have to go through things like one, go through the story. I don't know that two of my other videos don't appreciate one of those people who might be game organization like the we'll see what we're doing is I do have an application for a couple of things. One person, how do I, what level of person kind of a fluid calling real pace. Then was kind of, I hate you, not with this is the kind of I call with the press, but I do want to say this is a very good book.
Plug the phone in.
This is really to travel from successful rain has been really too wrong, not because of that tells people, but I think the trigger ones that say, you didn't walk through that trigger ones to learn that shit. We should plan to stay on, but that's not how it works. I haven't said that the Western tradition, there's something that I can kind of, I don't know that seems really okay. Also, I think we should do the Charlotte, but you subscribe to my channel. We're going to totally different way. These people reacted. So these people reacted strongly to my language. I one person I thought it like something to I don't know what's going on. I don't know that. It was fucking trying to control it. That was a bar. Less free to try to do this. About certain things, which I don't know if you sense or do. Okay, I love you all. We have a fun time with that. We can't go into this with you guys off that. It's one of those things. Scientific research is scientific research is scientific research. It's very common in the Lancet Medical Journal or the National Science Fair, scientific periodicals. Study published. Okay, research paper published. Research paper is saying what people spend years on. only several months later, some of the university, some of the back, and I say, oh, by the way, in fact, 9 years you spent working on trying to see with another country, a female, a fruit fly. You're wrong, sucker. Here's the way you listen to it. You know, that happens. But there's no information on me. I didn't capture this definition. Take this with you. I tell you, it just is what it is. All sorts of the audience. Okay? Artificial intelligence, Black Moon, Miles Johnson, Dave Wilkins, Sarah Rachel Adams, David Icke, Simon Clark. These people are your best friends. They should like, unless they're your best friends, you like them. Your best friends, they're your buddies. Hey, we're doing good. Loyalty's loyalty. I don't blame you with that. But if you're just out there trying to find information, you're not going to get this information right. You want to know the right answer. You were talking 2 + 2 = 5 in your time. Then you find out that someone out there is telling you 2 + 2 = 4. It doesn't do you any service to say, everybody knows that 2 + 2 = 5. No, you gotta have your mind, ears open, heart open. Welcome to the Terror Dome. Part 2, first real entry in my ongoing series about artificial intelligence. A entity, substance, cultural phenomenon that has a place that can take a conspiracy theory, truth movement, new age community, spiritual community, look up by storm. So that's prompted the making of these videos. As I covered briefly in the introduction video, we're going to be concentrating on the YouTube channel operator, the name actor, this person's YouTube channel, Miles Johnson. This would be good because it's a great resource to use. It's got a ton of information. A lot of people involved in Black Youth have it here, and also the basic projects are on a series of conferences and lectures and interviews that are numbered, so people can easily tell you, talking today about Basis 17. Basis 17 is where we're starting because it's the first instance that I'm aware of with the issue of Black Youth is really put forward. Maybe not on the internet, but certainly I think on the Basis project. Now, I should say this. Miles Johnson clearly has some personal things about Black Youth. May have been having some eyewitness experience. Maybe he definitely has some eyewitness experiences. So it's very possible that he introduced the subject of Black Youth, where artificial intelligence, Black Youth, and earlier Congress, the first one that clearly talks about the issue. Basis 17 features an investigative report by the name of a researcher by the name of David Griffin. Very pleasant chap. He was the female of the British. And David Griffin, Basis 17, which goes on to several parts. Basically, it's illuminated into 4 parts. Parts 1 and 2 will be spending most time with one video. Okay? And those are part 3 and part 4 video that we talk about briefly because it doesn't contain quite the same detailed amount of information or about speculation, a little bit of repetition of material that came before. So if one were only watch one of the Basis 17, I would definitely say watch the one. Both these parts 1 and 2. That's all you need to do. We'll talk about things more. Press your time. You can't investigate the issues easy. You may need to Basis 17, part 1 and 2 of David Griffin is where you want to go. And we're going to concentrate our time. David Griffin, as a researcher, and particularly in this chapter, Basis 17, is going to be talking a lot about Black Youth, artificial intelligence, Black Youth, and its connections with Falklands War conflict. He's also going to follow that up with basically his theory is that the Falklands War between Britain and Argentina, the political things that we can talk about are actually false. The real reason that the Brits invaded the Falklands Islands in 1952 was to retrieve this artificial intelligence Black Youth from an underground base located under the Argentinian basement for Beta Uruguay. He follows this line of research it's definitely cycled into. I don't think I'm taking the wrong way. I say that it could be considered. Okay. It's very important to know that I'm not thinking that a sort of person has to be so don't say that I'm agnostic as to whether or not they're light workers, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. I think that the biotrans probably is one. But it's important to note that because in addition to his eyewitness experiences with black people, he also had to deal with the see it. These are the systems. New York State, maybe in this state, I'm kind of using the guy I like to. The other cast of characters are going to be Mr. Summerscales, who is the non project is associated with the project of the cast of himself, Johnson's, and it is Susan, so the name of that, which I remember. I guess you don't know. Today, they're together, interviewing David Griffin. Now, there's a very other person that you should know about in order to understand David Griffin, this important story, you should think impact on how you can judge David Griffin's conclusion. David Griffin's primary source for existence of an underground base underneath the body or the political rationale in false in the Argentine Falklands War conflict, as well as the information from the Colonial Desert. Because it is a contactee at the abductee by the name of Alec Newell. Alec Newell was an engineer, and still be an engineer, who was adopted sometime in 1989. Okay, and he was gone for 10 days. He was taken to Haven with the aliens, and they taught him all the shit, including stuff, including, that's not joking, that was just taught him all the stuff about this conflict, systems of space, and as well as some information about these Marconi. As I mentioned, there's also some skills with quite often in the direct examination of the data. Let's start with the Falklands War conflict. We get some understanding of the basic history of the Falklands War conflict, so we can see in chart where David Griffin's divergence. Okay, I'll help us understand. But this is very brief, and certainly not sure people to continue. So this is going to get specific. People probably already know. There was a small chain of volcanic islands off the coast of Argentina, known as the Falkland Islands. It's also sometimes called the Northeast Islands, or the Northeast Islands. There's two levels, two island chains. One of the island chains is known as Southern Thule Island chain. We'll talk about that in a minute. But in confusion, because it's really not controversial. Okay, the Falkland Islands, Argentina always wanted the Falkland Islands. They do think it's their territory. It brings up other people. In fact, the majority of people on the Falkland Islands are English-speaking descendants of British settlers. So the Falkland people really always thought the food source of the Falkland Islands. Okay, United Kingdom, things like the United Kingdom, Argentina has theirs. Sometime in 1976, this is an ongoing conflict. This didn't start in 1973. Argentina and Britain had constant kind of butted heads on this region. Okay, so Argentina goes to the constant, consistent research of control of ownership of the Falkland Islands. Sets up a small scientific base. I guess we call it a military base, but it's really a scientific outpost on part of the southern Thule Island chains, known as Thule Islands, volcanic island. We did this in 1976. Shortly after we set it up, Britain found out about, discovered that we're trying to negotiate that peace with, trying to figure out what in 1982, diplomatic relations happened, diplomatic talks happened, forming the Falkland Free Movements. Okay, it's very important to understand that even though Britain has a decisive victory, relatively short period of time, it's not overnight. Okay, and many this is a real, it's very important people understand because it's a real war, real soldiers fighting for their nation, gave their lives. Very important to respect that. I personally. 1982, the UK invades they obtained a relatively quick victory, but it's not like I said, it wasn't bloodless. And I'll tell you another, okay, even though it was common to conceive of the Balkan Wars, I think it was Britain going in and kicking Argentina's ass, we compared Argentina just blowing them out and just overreacting. Argentinian military is a fucking joke. These guys are, the Argentinian army, a no acting joke. You better believe that those Royal Marines who went in, those generals who led their men with the invasion of the Falkland Islands, it wasn't easy for them to do this. It's not a great case for the thing. It's a small serious bombing. You have multiple landings. You have amphibious combat, tactical embarkation onto the land. These are things that any military strategist tell you. It was still hard on the ball. And this was a hard thing for the British to bear. Okay, so you got to believe that those young men finally being jacked. They were not going into some sort of dress up police action. And it wasn't going to be just Woody Allen's bananas. And these guys were go toe to toe. These Argentinians were basically betrayed by the crowds. And these guys, Argentinian military, don't act in joke, okay? A huge German population that came over after World War I, bringing them all their knowledge of Prussian war tactics, protects the Argentinians were really acting joke. The British were very proud of this. They don't say that because they were proud of themselves because they achieved that. It's terrible, pro-war, but people got to do what they got to do. We got to play out our common dharma. This is warriors now. It is what it is. I just want to put that in perspective because it's very common for people to act like, oh, the Brits, like, either like some sort of joke. It's no joke. In fact, the Argentinians back then. You know what I mean? Years ago, if they had to invade Argentina, okay, we'd be all like, oh, it'd be easy, Argentina, even with all their French. Anyway, in June 20th of 1911, the base of the war happens when it takes place in magnitude of nights. The British soldiers are victorious, and that's the end of the conflict. Shortly after the end of the conflict, June 20th, 1922, the Brits actively take Bovada River. Okay, there's the biggest assault with the company of the Royal Marines, accompanied by the English Southern High School. Okay, we'll get to that. How much tech they brought to take Bovada River, relative speaking. Okay, shortly after the Rhine's, they go and they take Bovada River. They take the soldiers, the Argentinian soldiers, give up. They don't fight. They don't go to the fight. They surrender immediately when the Brits arrive. And the Brits take them offshore, and they basically leave Bovada Uruguay intact. Why? Bovada Uruguay is not the fancy visual aid here. The crappiest visual aid ever. Hopefully that was the people's JPEG. And they did the thumbnail. Bovada Uruguay is a series of prefab structures, okay? These are clearly prefab structures by the military. And like any prefab structure constructed hastily in the Antarctica, but the Falklands are very good in the Antarctica. It's not a warm place. It's not even it's really cold. The islands of Volcano is covered in the coast, right? And everyone knows down military construction. This construction again in frozen barren places in general, you got to build prefab structures on pylons. Pylons which raise the structures off the ground. Why do you do that? Well, number one, it's too hard to dig into this volcano, so it's too hard to dig into the soil, especially when it constructs so fast. When you can't do construction, also because it's permafrost, right? In Siberia, there's many Russian cities that are all built on pylons. Okay, and that's because permafrost raises and lowers the height of ground. It makes a traditional basement or sub-basement-based construction, house construction impossible. It doesn't work. You got to build on pylons. It's a point of this is how the body goes by looks. It ain't impressive. It ain't that big a deal, right? See? I will build prefab structures on pylons. With little fence. Okay, anyway. So here we go. So they don't do anything. They just kick guys off and just leave the prefab structures. Why? Why not? Who cares? The prefab structures on pylons. In fact, the British probably figure, hey, it's a scientific outpost, so we put it there, some supplies there. We have missions that go around all this time again. This thing might happen again. Leave it intact. Spoil war. You gotta do something nice little scientific base. We'll look up the British soldiers there. We can take ice core samples to the cows, come home, right? It's gonna be beautiful. Sheep, right? Falklands Islands are sheep. Okay. Okay, so they did not destroy December of 1982. A Royal Navy vessel travels by Cobalt River sees that some of the space yards flat. This, for some reason, pisses them off, and they blow up the place. Okay, but I guess they assume that that's continuing. You're trying to reinstate things, we're trying to get things going. That's very important to know from the historical record. And it's most likely, it was considered most likely by most historians that Argentine flag was probably put up there by Orthodox Data, who believed that Argentina was the proper place, loved Argentina, said about it before, went back into about a year ago and said, oh, there we go, Argentinian flag back up, right? So you look at something for that structure. No big deal. Well, okay. That's the historical record, as most people say. Now, it's very short trip, and go through a lot of it, but that's basically all the universe in a nutshell, including the table of here. Table written now, as
We'll just try to get that clear.
table written now, it's like this. It's only what really happened. Very cool to
Try to help, and I just
primary source was not that it was artificial intelligence and black goo that provided Uruguay in the underground days. Is Alec Google, a New Zealand engineer who, like I said, in 1989 disappeared for 10 days. I'm not calling him a liar. I'm just saying New Zealand engineers disappeared for 10 days. Time, right?
That's better.
New Zealand, watch out.
Yeah, you can still see the bottom.
It happens. Watch out. Anyway, not all.
Who would have known Channer was a coder?
Okay. I don't get the personality because I think I'll do well much like myself. I think I'll do well with such a grab every once in a while. I'm sure, hey, you look at pictures about some tie-dye-ins. I'm sure New Zealand, come on, you know what I mean? Probably hate the kid. I like the person too. That's the Trump. Don't ask on anybody. Black glasses on and some it's anyway.
This is that Stanley Kubrick guy that when they stole my page of Prophetic Destiny in Missouri, it was his creepy face. And they were, pushing crazy media and stuff, trying to frame me. That's why Channer cries about the Facebook stuff and those secret groups and that Joy and, all them fake names and blah, blah, blah. But they really can write things 20 years before it happens and make it look like a conspiracy. Because like I was explaining, if they make it like it's supposed to be 20 years before it's really going to happen, then it gets debunked and becomes a conspiracy. So I get how they do it now. De-weaponize it. Hey, Tracy.
Some people of themselves, they didn't find testimony might not be the greatest evidentiary support on which one can meaningfully build this story. It's especially important to know this because David Griffin has another source that he talks about the human Argentine science officer who was critical said was stationed at Cobalt, Europe. His name is Carl Lawson, or Carl. It's hard to tell
It makes a name so irrelevant, doesn't it? Just hearing name after name after name and try to fill in details, but it's just all part of the psyop to me. Hey, what's going on? There we go. Thank you. The hell? What's this? That's what they call a perfect piece of timing, and it wasn't constructed in any manner. That's phenomenal. Better go to this place of work. That was a trip. Lost history. Okay, so everything is too quiet. Is this their game? Because it's coming through the big one. Hang on, let me go check. Let's do it quick. Maybe Channer's done. Where was he? Let's see. Let me think about it. We're on the live stream right now. Let me zip over here. Yeah, it is. It's Stanley Kubrick, A Life in Pictures, the intro to it. So, Channer's thing is done.
Magnificent. One of his pictures are
Okay.
equivalent to 10 of somebody else's.
So, let me just come right back over. Oh, wait. Let me find my closing video to say goodnight with. We're still on the list we were working with earlier, and Stanley, like I said, his scary eye is the one that was on my stolen Facebook page, Prophetic Destiny of Missouri. That's funny. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this Explosum Entertainment, but it's called Purgatory Episode 8. What? Dreams may come. You know, it's just not that funny. I mean, everything's good. What will I go out with? I got it. Okay. So, what we're going to end this show with, the punchline to the message. Let me just look at me when you guys hear me say it. It's about the art of the gag. Okay. So we go to that on this list. Okay. Come on. Art of the gag. Okay. And there's this thing, man. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll check it out and see if it's worth fitting into a very timely message. But if you guys want to check it out, and I don't know what it is, but it's on this list that we've been working with through this show, is it's called the Time Traveling Trump Grifters. And Three Graces Press is who that video's by. Now, we've got a song, and it's cute, and I'll just let you have that as a surprise. This art of the gag is really important, and that's like 10 minutes. And then the last thing that's going to be in the show, and I'm saying it out loud so I remember to do it, is I want to go over to Twitter and show you what I made public today, because it's important with all this misinformation and disinformation in the infectious disease category of medicine, and they really need to go back to the documented physicians' essential tools when it came to knowing everything there is about bacteriology, parasitology, virology, viruses, contagious disease, parasites, worms, flukes, and all sorts of other unsavory conversation that, of course, they don't really want to talk about because it's pretty scary knowing these little invisible bugs can run amok, you know? All right, so let's do this. It's so cute. Don't ever forget, hashtag Presley for President. It's in the code. I'm just telling you about the code. Everybody wants to act like it's Kennedy. It's Presley. They never use the right name. They're fucking mentally challenged.
Hi, my name is Tony, and this is Every Frame of Painting. There are some filmmakers who are so influential that no matter where you look, you see traces of them everywhere. I see this filmmaker's framing in the works of Wes Anderson, his acrobatics and stunts in Jackie Chan, and his deadpan posture in Bill Murray.
Get moving.
He, of course, is Buster Keaton, one of the three great silent comedians.
He was, as we're now beginning to realize, the greatest of all the clowns in the history of cinema.
And nearly 100
What,
years
Mr.
later,
Computer
he still
Head?
has plenty to teach us about visual comedy.
This Mac cannot connect to iCloud because of a problem with my Gmail. Those iClouds are awful dangerous, like little Sue's found out. Nobody helped me.
The first thing you need to know about visual comedy is that you have to tell your story through action.
Yeah, you
Keaton was
do.
a visual storyteller, and he never liked it when other directors told their story
Called
through
you
the title
Ridley.
cards.
The average
I
picture
want this to go
was
away.
240 titles. That was about the average. 240 was the average, and the most I ever used was 56.
Later.
He avoided title cards by focusing on gesture and pantomime. In this shot, you never find out what these two are talking about. Everything you need to know is conveyed through the table and their body language.
Mm.
But what you had to say, you had to communicate to the audience in only one way.
Through action. That's right. We eliminated subtitles just as fast as we could, and we could possibly tell it in action.
Keaton believed that each gesture you did should be unique.
Tag Walter
Never do the same thing
Bosley.
twice. Every single fall
He has a fascination with silent
is an
movies.
opportunity for creativity. But once you know the action, we come to the second problem. Where do you put the camera?
There's no problem with that. I mean, there was
Visual gags
back
generally
then,
work best
but
from one particular angle. And if you change the angle, then you're changing the gag, and it might not work as well. Finding the right angle is a matter of trial and error.
Tag
So let's take
Sandro
a
and
look
his
at two
production
possible camera
company.
placements for the same joke.
And
Here's the first one.
who and what is Presley Enterprises? Because it's not run by
Here's the
Graceland.
second.
I mean, I'd want proof. Just like all these other schmucks demand when they do their comedy.
The car takes up most of the frame, and we don't get a clear look at Buster until he turns around. But in the second angle, the car is placed in the background, and we always have a clear view of his face. This split second, where he doesn't know what's happening, but we do, that's much better from over here.
Well, yeah, everybody thinks
And in
it's
the first
fucking a
angle,
riot.
framing splits our attention. Our eyes want to look at his face and the sign at the same time. But after reframing the scene, our eyes naturally look at him and the sign, and back to him. Much better.
Tag SKMI, also known
Then we
as
come to the third
Elvi,
question. What
and
are the
his
rules of this
fascination
particular
with
Buster's world
these
is flat
silent
and governed by one
guys
law.
like Charlie Chaplin too. And then, you know, of course, he
If the camera can't see it,
comes
then the
into
characters
the
can't see it either. In Buster's world,
you know,
the characters are limited
movies
by the sides of the
that
frame,
actually have a
what's visible to us,
soundtrack.
the audience.
Early days of
And
what
this
we
allows
call
it to do jokes that
television
make
or
sense
media.
visually.
Somebody
But
ran
not
amok.
logically. A lot of his gags are about human movement in the flat world. You can go to the right, to the left, up, down,
People aren't even healthy enough to do
away
this
from the
shit
lens,
now. You kidding?
towards it. Look familiar?
That's pathetic, isn't it?
And you think I did it?
Like Wes Anderson, Buster Keaton found humor in geometry.
Sacred geometry.
You often place the camera further back so you can see the shape of a joke. There are circles, triangles, parallel lines,
Squares,
and of course, the shape of the frame itself.
dorks, nerds, you know,
I think staging like this is great.
narcs that
because it
smoke
encourages
pot
the
that narc
audience to
out
look
other
around
pot
the frame and
smokers,
see
you
the
know,
shape
just
for
anything
themselves.
like that.
In this shot, think about where your eyes are looking.
I don't want to think about it.
Now, where's he?
You never
Some
know
of
where
these
he
gags
is.
have their roots in vaudeville and are designed to play like magic tricks.
Yeah. Tag alchemy.
And like all great magic tricks, part of the fun is trying to guess how it was done.
I can't.
Keaton had a name for
I
gags
can't
like
speak
these.
to that any better than I have.
Impossible gags.
Hands up, don't shoot.
They're some of his most inventive and surreal jokes. But as a storyteller, he found them tricky because they broke the rules of his world. He had to stop.
Tag shatter their realities, boo-boo kitties.
Cartoon gags. We lost all of that when we started making feature pictures. They had to be believable, or your story wouldn't hold up.
Oh, it's
So
believable.
instead, he focused on what he called the natural gag. The joke that emerges organically from the character and the situation. Consider what he does with this door. Keaton claimed that for visual comedy, you had to keep yourself open to improvisation.
How much of it was planned, and how much came out in the actual doing, how much was improvised, you know? Well, as a rule, about 50%
Easily 20 years.
you have in your mind before you start the picture, and the rest you develop as you're making it.
Sometimes he would find a joke he liked so much that he would do a callback to it later. But other times, jokes that he planned beforehand wouldn't work on the day.
Like it could even be interactive now, and how would we
Because they don't
debunk
stand
that?
up, they don't work well. And the accidental ones come.
Live isn't live.
He was supposed to make this jump.
Things that are 2 minutes and 40 seconds go on 5-6 minutes. I don't know.
So you're seldom gonna
How is it,
see
Harry?
like that good the second time. Johnny got him that first one. Maybe that's one of the reasons there was so much laughter.
He wants everybody to,
I mean, the younger
you know
people
how
had this
talented
feeling
he
that what they were
is.
seeing was happening
They call
now.
him Maestro.
That it happened only once. It was not something that was straight down and done and done.
And that brings us to the last thing about Buster Keaton and his most famous rule. Never fake a gag. For Keaton, there was only one
No,
way to
that's
convince the audience that what they were
for
seeing
real.
was real. He had to actually do it. Without cutting. He was so strict about this that he once said, either we get this in one shot,
I'm not fucking doing it again.
or we throw out the gag. And it's why he remains vital nearly 100 years later. Not just for his skill, but for his integrity.
Oh, integrity is very important.
And no advancement in technology can mimic this. Even now, we're amazed when filmmakers actually do it for real. I think he did it better 95 years ago. So no matter how many
Well,
times
that's
you've
going
seen
to
someone
piss
else
number
pay
one
homage to
off.
him,
He says he can do it all the different ways. I told y'all, you don't step on those blue suede shoes.
nothing beats the real thing.
Whatever. Okay. So, no. There's a lot of other films that dude did. It was pretty impressive. I didn't have time to stop or read it. It was happening in front of my face. We're going to Twitter. Oh no. So, for those of you that follow along in the Neverending Story, dadgum Stephen Colbert and you know, the dude that does carpool karaoke, and Seth Meyers. And I never mean to put Seth Meyers last. I want him to know that, and he already does. But I kind of got off habit of flipping the channels, going from 4 to 5, and doing ads and different stuff like that. But Stephen Colbert, 51 minutes ago, says, "Oh no, Chuck, what did you do?" And it's food trending Chuck E. Cheese. And like, it's trending because 22,000 people are tweeting this shit. Now, there's always code. because who wants to go eat at Chuck E. Cheese, right? But now I got to do my little thing. So, you know, Chuck E. Cheese had all them adults in animal costumes, and when the whole thing about kids getting in questionable situations with Disneyland characters, you know, at the birthday party, and all the fat ass adults are sitting in the corner eating the pizza. I don't know. You know, it all tags into the code with what people want to call pedogate, or, you know, pizza, which is code for different sick things that have become, it's really just like a blasphemy, you know? But when Chuck E. Cheese kind of folded, um, you know, that story was involved. Now, what's so important here with these powers and principalities is, so, as you guys know, I bring out actual works of literature, and this Steiner thing is bigger than anybody has a clue of. So, if, let's think of the word pediatrician, that doesn't have nothing to do with all of those gross, scary things, but it's about the beginning of the word, you know, the prefix part. And pedagogy, like I said, is the instruction of a child from when they're very young all the way up to when they're an adult, and they would theoretically graduate through college and, you know, have this great background, and they could go out into the world. But you see, what happened was, here in America, the history that was left standing after all the devastation honored Crowley and Blavatsky. And Blavatsky was all about theosophy. And see, Rudolf Steiner didn't agree with the theosophists. And being over in Europe, he was the one that started anthropology, anthroposophy, spiritual science. And he was doing that before Blavatsky was pushing her snake oil, or Crowley was doing the dark sex, blood magic rituals, and the control and the power. And you see how that would influence war and destruction and immorality and all the shit that we've experienced. Whereas Steiner was such an incredible being, and it was amazing when I got here online. Look at this. This accessory may not be supported. So when that happens, I know, because they've been in my phone pretty intensely. And like a lot of you guys know too, there's been this gossip that nobody could get on Facebook a few days ago. Well, I'm not really involved in YouTube or Facebook or Twitter as much as normal, because it's so much more secure for me to not even be involved in it. It's filthy, you know, and I'm watching all these dumbasses connect themselves and go down, and it's incredible what I've been experiencing. If I would do something every day and tell y'all, that would be what they would say I should be doing because, you know, I've had a message specifically from Mr. Daggum Jimmy fucking Touchdown that, you know, what my responsibility is, you know, in my position. And I haven't been doing it and I'm slacking on the job, right? And it's, you know, it's poking the bear, but it's in the code that, you know, everything's okay. And everything is at the most secure place that it can be for the position we're in, and good luck to us all, you know, kind of a thing. But I had to retweet Steven because he's a pain in my ass. And every night he flips code at me and I flip him off. And, you know, I mean, I like him. I really do. And you got to realize that they've all been traumatized by this disclosure too. And then it's like, hey, you want to meet her? You know, she'll call you out and blah, blah, blah. So that's the way this has been working. And like I said, I've never had a phone call, a letter, a message telling me that, but it is in me. And aren't we just alive to be ourselves? And I'll just keep it light and simple with like that. So the point of why we are over here. Yeah, we're not talking about all that. Okay. So we're going to my page or whatever. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So I did this 3 hours ago, is what Twitter says. So you know it's somewhere near 4 hours, right? And NPR had just tweeted this out. It says President Trump says he has been taking hydroxychloroquine, even though there's a lack of evidence that the drug can fight against the coronavirus, and medical experts have ... So let me just put it up here for posterity and evidence and all honest things. Now, the first thing that I thought when I saw this picture is, why come is Trump's hair so different? And, you know, through this whole thing, the code has been like about identifying different, it's way beyond facial features, you know, it's how hairlines grow, and hairdressers know that. Kind of like hairdressers know as much, minus about a pinch, than actual medical nurses do, because it's part of our cosmetology training. And I actually have a master's in that stuff. And that's why I do stick my neck out on the chopping block and talk about these truths that have been hidden for an agenda that everybody bitches about now. So it's like you got to really put it in somebody's face. But they're so traumatized and you want to help them, and the whole thing turns to shit. But okay, so the drug can fight against the coronavirus. There's a lack of evidence for that. Let me start again. President Trump says he has been taking hydroxychloroquine, even though there's a lack of evidence that the drug can fight against the coronavirus, and medical experts have warned about its use. And then underneath the caption of Trump with a different head, I mean, you know, it's all the angles we learned about in the art of the gag. Despite FDA's caution, Trump says he is taking it preventatively. Okay, so what I said was this. Okay, so here's what I said. I hashtagged over medication nation and placebo effect. And it says just as stress is one major symptom of 80% of every hashtag disease, 30% is the acknowledgement effect that is hashtag belief. Our belief contributes to a creation of reality, which I hashtag too, because you know me. And the word I wanted to put was gathers, GATHERS. And even when I spell checked it, I mean, they did it and told me I was wrong, but I spelled it right, GATHERS, but they kept telling me it was fathers. And I was like, all right, all right, all right. And what that has to do is with the patriarchal rule. It's just the message coming through. It's no offense to any real men in these live action games that are way more important and significant than channers. Fathers, a hive mind with hooks, which is hashtag popular opinion. So this is now all been documented today, and I expect a lot of shit to pop off, although I'm completely insignificant and nobody knows I'm here, you know? It's a great cover. I mean, they got me under every bitch's name. They twist the facts and, hurt people and make money and take control and do all these terrible things. What an easy way to grab up a whole bunch of people at once. And like I'm saying, sorry, the general population can't be trusted to pull their heads out of their ass to have a vote, even though the vote never counted when they had it. Or my ex, Dobie the Turnip, he used to dig a consensus. And everybody gets one vote, even the sole proprietor. Now I get why the corporations could be such a benefit to mankind if it hadn't been prostituted and got the mind virus and people started making false images in their names. Oh shit. But it's the truth, you know? So yeah, I'm done, and I was a little upset, which of course I always know. And it's not for me to talk about tonight. It is what it is, and the right people know. And like everybody needs to realize, okay, this is how humans work. No matter who they love or don't love. That initial thought that occurs, and it goes through, and you're still cool with everything, but you're saying this is actually created a new dimension in my reality. And if the person believes my testimony, they realize that this is something greater than my ego or all these stupid stories. And it's important that I do the job I'm supposed to do. And if there's a biochemical reaction that happens in my body where I say, you know what? I don't give a fuck. I've helped way more than I ever needed to, and since people take it so lightly and they seek other things, I don't care if anybody fucking ever acknowledges it in my lifetime, because behind the scenes they already have. This shit has already happened. It just takes people a while to catch up, and it even takes the person a while to catch up, which is a natural uh, human condition, you know, no different than life and death and disease and stress and these different programs. I still guess I should mention this crazy meme that went out today. Oh, I didn't share it. Are you kidding me? What the hell's wrong with me? We got to take a quick jump over to Stina Bobina. She's a pistol, isn't she? So this was 7 hours ago, and what it says is, speaking of Neanderthals, it's been how many years now and you can't speak properly. Get your ass some GD speech lessons. Why did the SSP not provide that for you? Even Florida schools provide speech and an emoji with, you know, like hysterical laughter with the tears, right? And it says SSP tried every last one of us, saying this was the best they found. Okay. You know, you've seen the other side of me where I would be speaking directly to her and she would full well know because she was plugged in, and I would feel like she was ignoring me and being hateful. But each one of these people had a role to act out, which is part reality and part hive mind and part retribution of their own thoughts and actions. It's fascinating. And this whole story, when we go back to the idea of this is the best they found, how is it that such a dumbass like me figured out all their game? And that's why they don't use my name, and that's why Channer was yakety squack about Carrie Cassidy or Miles or whomever. And I'm really glad that I didn't have to hear it. I can always go back and listen later. It was important that we let the process happen live as it was happening. And that's always more the thing. So I just want to play this for documentation in too, but wait, okay, so I'm supposed to explain this first, okay? Everybody had a job here. And their true nature was studied. as they were performing their job. And in the meantime, it's really a joke. But there's consequences to the joke. It's not, it's like, if you're going to have this great world, it evolves out all this shit, right? That it was really important for everybody to know who everybody is. And, you know, Stina's young, and most of these girls that were treated like monarch you know, like sex object girls, man, and all the shit. It is usually right after the karma-free years, which would be, you know, the 21 to 28. You're out doing your thing, man, and thinking you're invincible and getting older. And some people think they're over the hill at 30, and it's a shame, you know, because it's something that's infected our world perception on old people get it. Fucking blow me sideways, man. I mean, that's stupid. And in the end, obesity is way more dangerous than age, and things aren't what they appear. So, you do really have to have empathy for the people that are acting out their age-appropriate behaviors. It sucks to hit your crisis years between 30 and 33. And you got to realize it's been tough on everybody in every different group. But to keep the behavior up, no matter what. Now you see the reason for quarantining people and specifically knowing what they do or don't have. And that's why Kelly knows that she's to be with CW now. She knew she was infected. I mean, you still got to have empathy that she met him at some fucked up comic book convention. And whatever happened, happened. And that's their business. But to bring me into the shitstorm here again, it's more to just shut me up so the truth doesn't get out. It's not. I mean, it's hateful either way, but we just can't really have that. And so it'll be dealt with. But let me play it and then I'm done for real.
There'll be magical things flying around. People will be speculating how they work. Scientists will be saying, okay, this shouldn't work with what we know of science. So there'll be just little, you know, scientific leaks and information will come out and understanding will grow. It's going to happen more in a progressed way like that, if, you know, especially with this protracted disclosure that all of the powers that be want.
So Corey, I know over the past couple months you've been juggling a whole bunch of aspects in your life, and some good, and some not so good. But what are we going to be expecting from you in the near future, as far as any projects, more information coming out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on a number of projects. Like I said, my course, online course, is doing, you know, really well, very popular. People are very happy with it. AcceleratingAscension.com. And then, you know, we have some exciting things that I can't really talk about because of other legal stuff going on. But like I said, I have people coming out of the woodworks that, especially in Hollywood and, you know, very different business areas, that people are just suddenly reaching out to me. And, you know, it's exciting because, like I said, you know, we've gone through years of, you know, these attacks and discrediting. It's tore us up, financially, my team, they attacked people and they, succumbed to all of the attacks. I mean, it's been horrible. And the fact that, we're starting to, see a light at the end of the tunnel, after we filed the lawsuits and all of the other things started to move, people saw, why would he be going to the authorities? Why would he be filing racketeering lawsuits if he was doing all of the things that people are accusing him of? And it just doesn't make sense or jive, to your normal pragmatic person. So those normal pragmatic people are starting to
Pragmatic people twice. And the video ends. So we'll see how it goes from here. They fulfilled their role. And made their own selves guilty. So, que sera, sera. And with that, this is Susanna from Sophia's Emporium saying peace out, man. My old buddy, that is under another identity now, of course, deep down knows. And it was good to hear his persona talking shit and me getting to say my little things because I've always cared, and so has he, even though people had to become enemies because as everybody's stuff really plays out, I mean, it's freaked a lot of people out. So, none of this stuff was done to hurt anyone. It was a way to bring the healing. So, we'll see what happens. Thanks again and good night. And yeah, whoever is fucking with me that's unable to connect to chat, please try again later. I just wanted to bring that up one more time.